Hello and welcome back to our place in Arkansas. This week we are so excited because we finally have our path cleared so that we can get from our house all the way down to the water, which is super exciting. Now, it takes us about 6-7 minutes to walk the path. Depending on whether we're going uphill or downhill, it is a big hill and it is fairly steep. So going down is definitely quicker than coming back up the path. So on our property, I just worked on clearing the leaves and then moving the big rocks to the side so that we just have a nice path. It's easy to find and you're not tripping over the giant rocks. In this area of Arkansas, there are rocks everywhere. But that's all right. That's part of the game. When we get to the end of our property, then I stopped making those little borders, and now you can see we're getting onto the government land. That white marker is the marker for that. And at this point, I just push the branches and the brush to the side, and you can easily see that there's been a path here before. So we just are following that right down to the water's edge. This took me several days of working. I'd get up and work, about 4 hours, usually in the morning time before it got too hot. I'd lug all of my tools, my rake and my little clippers down and a water bottle and get to work. As I was working with all the rocks, there are so many pretty rocks here. I kept finding rocks that I just wanted to keep or put in a special place, but they're beautiful rocks everywhere. Lots of agates, lots of these rocks that have these little crystals too, little tiny sparkly crystals. Very, very pretty. Now we're getting to the water's edge, and right along the water there's lots of rocky ledges. And so the rocks are once again everywhere, all the way down to the water's edge. So you do have to be careful as you're going down this section of the path because you want to make sure you're stepping on solid ground. But once you get down to the edge, it is so pretty. The water has this turquoisey blue color, which is just beautiful. The water is very clear as well. You can see down several feet, which is really cool. So now that we've got our path clear enough, it's time for us to have our very first swim.
I know how to carry it.
We are down here, we've got a couple of noodles, and we are finally getting ourselves into the water.
There was a fish.
Yeah, that was probably the gar.
It was big and it jumped and then
Yeah.
it swam away.
It's got needles. I mean, it has a needle nose.
Okay, do you want me to stay in the water or not?
No, it has needle nose, but it's...
Okay, swimming for the camera. The camera. I don't know if it's getting good footage or not, but...
And once we got into the water, then we just enjoyed it. The fruits of our labor. This is our first time swimming in the water right by our home. And Bob and I spent probably about 2 hours just floating in the water. It was a hot day with the temperature in the mid-90s. We were down there about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so that was the perfect place, is to be here just enjoying all of this beautiful water on this beautiful day. Now, I also want to show you just a quick garden update. As you know, I just have a mini garden this year because we're new to this place. Here we've got a Chicago pickling cucumber starting to branch out. Here's an SMR 52 cucumber, which is a little bit behind, even though I planted them at the same time. Here we've got Minnesota midget, and these seeds came from my sister Katie, and this one is starting to take off. Lots of little flowers. I've got a Black Beauty zucchini over here. Actually, there's 2 plants in this one pot, and it's beginning to put off a few flowers as well. In the red pot, we've got some dragon tongue bush beans. And then I just have my pink geraniums that I overwintered from last year. And they are super happy here in these big blue pots. I have an herb garden, which is doing really well. I'm not harvesting a whole lot because I'm just giving everything time to establish this year. And then I have a little section of garden that is down next to my chickens. And I have 1 pepper plant. I've got 3 tomato plants. They're all doing well, starting to put on some blossoms and fruit. And then I have a collection of grow bags with some seedlings that I started earlier. The little red pots, those are daisies. We've got some petunias, and we have some sage. And then the bigger plants are zinnias. I have been missing cutting those zinnias and putting them in my kitchen window, so I'm excited to get some flowers. And then more basil. For whatever reason, I just can't ever seem to have enough basil, so I keep planting lots of it. And then I have to have deer netting around this garden that you can see right there. So it gets closed up every night so that the deer don't go in and eat any of my plants. They aren't supposed to eat the herbs, but the other plants I need to protect. And here we've got our chicken area, and we finally feel like we've got this wrapped up, established. I'm happy with how everything's functioning and working, and it took us a while to get here. So we've got our hen house in the middle, which is just a structure that we transported from Illinois, and that's working really well right now for our chickens to sleep in at night with extra protection. We have Illinois chickens that are not used to the Arkansas heat. So we have installed several shade cloths, 1 on the right and 2 on the left. And these have really helped to keep the ground cooler, to keep their area cooler. And they're just a lot happier when they're underneath these shade cloths. So that's been a really good addition. And then the perimeter of the chicken yard is electric fencing. We had some predator problems way back at our first week here, so the electric fence has really solved all of those problems, and we really, really like it. So we're starting to settle in and really enjoying our beautiful summer here in Arkansas. I hope that you're having the best summer as well.